Good morning, everyone. It's Stephen Whiteside here from theuptrend.com with your morning market outlook for Friday morning. Yes, it's the last trading day of the week. It is Friday, April 10th. It is raining out there, which is unfortunate, but hopefully it'll clear up for the weekend. On Friday mornings, I like to start off by looking at how the week has progressed so far. And we've had a new high in crude oil this week, but we're down nearly 8%, and that's put a bit into the stock market. Energy stocks in New York down 3.24%, trading and closing below the previous week's low. So that's not a good sign for the energy sector. And Canadian energy stocks down 4.32%. Again, currently closing below last week's low. So we could certainly be putting in a top here for the energy sector. Now, the gold, the GLD ETF is up nearly 2%. Gold stocks up in New York, twice that level. In Toronto, 2.76%. And we are getting up towards the upper channel line. Looking at the iShares for the TSX 60, we're up over 1% this week, and we could be back on a weekly buy signal. The S&P 500, the NASDAQ, both drove up to the upper channel line. They're currently not closing above it at the moment, but they've had pretty big up weeks on both major indices. And then last up, looking at Bitcoin, we're up over 7% on the week. No major change here. It would be nice to see if we could get a weekly close above the high from a month ago, and that could certainly generate a weekly buy signal for Bitcoin. Looking at what's going on this morning, it's awfully quiet out there. We do have CPI numbers coming out at 8:30. We've got crude oil up a penny at the moment, gold down $34.90. So it's extremely quiet out there on Friday morning. Now, yesterday was an interesting day. We saw lots of things work. We saw the pharmaceuticals lead the market higher, followed by home builders, semiconductors, consumer discretionary, regional banks. The Magnificent Seven was up at the top of the performance list yesterday. We had U.S. banks. We also had Canadian banks leading the markets higher on Thursday. Now, what didn't work yesterday? Well, it all had to do with technology. Cybersecurity stocks got clubbed yesterday, big rollover. Big rollover for cloud computing and software stocks already on a sell signal, no change there. Oil, anything to do with energy, was down yesterday. Canadian technology stocks were down. And then we get to something really interesting. The equal weighted NASDAQ 100 was actually down over 1.5% yesterday, while the NASDAQ 100 itself, which is, of course, not equal weighted, that's where those big cap stocks everybody loves gets to take control of an index. We were up 0.68% yesterday, made a new high for this move, closing right on our price target of 609.38. We closed at 610.19. So if you had an order in up there at that level, it certainly got filled yesterday. So congratulations. Now, looking at the next generation NASDAQ 100, we were actually down on the day yesterday. So, again, those big cap tech stocks that we've loved for the past few years, they're certainly taking control of the market at this time. Now, looking at the SPY, we drove up to our next price target, 679.69. We closed at 679.91. So if you had an order in up there, it got filled yesterday. Congratulations. Looking at the equal weighted S&P 500, we were up just 0.06% yesterday, so almost unchanged on the day. Looking at the iShares for the TSX 60, we were down a little over 0.5% yesterday. The Vanguard Canada ETF was down 0.44%, so no major change there. Financial stocks on the TSX were up 0.85%, hitting our next price target. So congratulations, you got to lock in some profit. Now, if you look to the left, you can see that we had a series of attempts to break out above this level over the past few months. So starting in the start of the year, we were up above 79.69 for a couple of days and came down. We tried it again in February a couple of times and came right back down. And so it'll be very interesting to see if we can break out above the recent high and head towards 81.25. Canadian banks moving up towards previous resistance as well. Our next price target was 62.50. We closed at 62.51 yesterday. So congratulations. You got to take some money off the table. You can see in February, we traded just above this level. And if we can break out above that, then 64.06 would be our next target to the upside. Last up, we saw the VIX continue to move lower on Thursday. It's down at the 200-day moving average. It's down at the bottom of the flypaper channel. It's at this point where things start looking a lot more positive for the market. If we can start breaking down below where we are right now, below that 200-day moving average, that would certainly bring some more conservative money off the sidelines and help prop up the stock market to head back up to those recent highs that we hit not too long ago. Okay, folks, that is all for this morning's presentation. So far, it looks like it's going to be a very quiet open on Friday morning. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. If you're a member, next time you'll hear my voice is on Sunday. Otherwise, I'll be back on Monday morning to look at what happened on Friday.
Thanks for tuning in until the very end of today's stock market timing educational video. If you found the content valuable, don't forget to express your support by hitting the like button, leave a comment, sharing with your friends, and subscribing to our channel for more insightful updates. Remember, in the world of stocks, timing is crucial, and following the trend can be your greatest ally. If you would like more information on how we can help you better time the stock market, please visit theuptrend.com.